Have you ever been afraid of a new beginning? Has the thought of embarking on something new ever shoot fear through your system? Well, it has with me. I have always been somewhat of a worried mind. The thought of trying something new, something unfamiliar to me, has always been a challenge. I don't want to screw up. I don't want to embarrass myself. And the worst part is, I know this is a terrible mindset. The only way to get over these worries and fears of mine is by taking my chances, showing a little faith, and just doing them. But fear still holds a menacing grip on me, and the harder I struggle, the tighter fear's grip becomes. At the time of this recording, I have just under 3 months left of my senior year. It's been quite a long time since I talked about this sort of thing. My past self would be proud. But after this year, I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, whenever I think about something like this, I like to look for the answers. It gives me a reinvigorated sense of purpose and self-discovery. Two things I can't seem to get enough of. But this time was a bit different. All my life, I've heard stories about how wonderful adult life is, making your own decisions and living your own life. But on the moon side, I've heard stories of the complete and polar opposite. Neither of these sides paints a clear picture for me, and neither of these stories give me the answers I seek. In fact, it's kinda made things worse. Up until now, our entire lives have basically been a straight line, pre-planned from the very beginning. Wake up, go to school, have some fun, go to bed, and repeat. But after your senior year, well, that's all up to you. What do you do? Where do you start? These questions, among thousands more, are ones that have drifted into my headspace for the past few years, causing ripples and tears that have compromised the very short amount of time I have left. But very recently, I think I found my answer. EarthBound hit me at the perfect time in my life, not only as a game, but as an experience. It showed me that there are still things in life worth feeling passionate over, and that I can still experience that same deep-rooted love for video games like I once knew as a kid. But now that I'm a bit older, a bit wiser, I can look at things with a new set of lenses, a clearer view, if you will. And while I have grown quite a bit since my last visit to Eagle Land, I've realized that there is still so much left to learn. In the beginning of EarthBound, the game sets up some of the main elements, the core foundation of the entire game. We learn that 10 years in the future, a being of untold evil has laid waste to the world as we know it, and that it's up to us to not only stop this thing, but also to bring peace and balance to a land that so desperately needs it. But here's the part that gets me. That's all you're given. Sure, before he meets his untimely demise at the hands of a fly swatter, BuzzBuzz tells us that we need to reach the 8 Your Sanctuary locations, which is a place to start. But besides that, you're on your own, leaving your home, your entire life behind you, and finding your own way in the world. Because of this new realization, my first few hours on this new playthrough were unlike any of my previous ones. I thought about everything Ness had to deal with, the outside world, higher authority, the inability to buy as many burgers as he wanted, and on top of that, being his own motivator and staying strong when times were tough. These are some serious and real responsibilities that we all need to deal with, and yet here he is, having to face them now, all on his own. I know I mentioned this in a previous video, how this sudden change of lifestyle was a breeding ground for fear in Ness's mind. But now that I'm a bit older, this scenario takes on a whole new meaning. In a sense, I can relate to this situation rather well. Sure, I'm not gonna go out on a journey to stop evil itself using psychic powers and a baseball bat. But soon, I'll be moving out, becoming self-sufficient, becoming my own man, and trying my best to make my mark on the world. In a not so crazy but crazy way, these stories aren't too different from one another. But here's where I realized something. Through all of his hardships, and through all the twists and turns, Ness kept moving on. He didn't cower in fear, and he didn't let that fear stop him from doing what he set out to do. Ness just kept living his life, and as time went on, things became easier. Enemies that gave him a hard time before were now running away because, well, they couldn't touch him anymore. And throughout his adventures, Ness met some very interesting friends who, in time, became his new family. It was here where it all clicked. It doesn't matter what life throws my way, and it doesn't matter how insurmountable these mountains may seem. As long as I keep going, I'll be okay. One day I will find success in what I have created. One day I will find someone special to share my life with. And one day, I will find the answers that I'm looking for. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that everything works out in the end. Life always finds a way to make things right. So until then, enjoy yourself. Don't let fear hold you back from achieving the happiness you deserve. And try not to doubt yourself. Things may seem dark sometimes, but there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And all we need to do is keep on keeping on until we see it through. It's honestly crazy to think how much this game alone has changed my life. And you know what? I bet I haven't even scratched the surface of what's yet to come. To those of you who have continued to stick around this long, thank you all so much. And with that, I think we'll call it a day. Take it easy, everybody. And as always,